to say something a little bit controversial, may upset a couple of people. I do believe that America is a very puritanical nation. The culture itself has this desire of persecuting other people, regardless of the ideology they use. They have this desire to be moral busybodies, to know like what other people do in the privacy of their own bedroom. Like they just can't live and let live. And the ideology does change. Like, I agree with that. You know, like the things that we use to persecute other people, it changes. But what remains the same is the same concept. Like, no, we need to know what other people are doing. We need to go into the privacy of their own bedroom, like they say. And when you have an ideology that actually says, well, no, we shouldn't go into the privacy of their own bedroom. Like, the moment that ideology gets in power, they do go into the privacy. And this is an American thing, mostly. I mean, probably it exists in other countries. I'm not saying that it's exclusively to America. But like, when you look at America, like, they do behave this way constantly. Like, what I'm talking about is that during the Bush era, you had the piety warriors. And back then, you didn't have social media, so maybe that's why they weren't that renowned. But basically what they would do is, like, if you were a television station and you published something offensive, they would start writing concerned citizen letters. They would start boycotting the place. They would start doing pressure and activism in order to have control over the thing. Now, again, other countries don't do this. Okay? Like there are nations in the world that do not do this. Like, if you have an advertisement that says damn in it, you don't have like the Million Moms. That is such an organization, right? The Million Moms, like, issuing letters of concern and trying to push advertisers to stop doing business with you. This is an American thing. And my point is that the whole social justice thing that you have today, it used to exist back during the Bush era and even before that. And usually a lot of the social justice activists, they would behave the same way, I guess, the Muslims today wield power. Right? So like, if you're a Muslim company, you can simply say, well, it's our religion, right? You can't say anything about it, because if you complain, then you're persecuting us. And back then, people would also use the same argument with Christianity. It's like, well, it's our religion. You can't say anything against it, because if you do, you're persecuting us. Oh, you're an atheist? Well, you have no religion, so therefore, everything that you believe in can be questioned. You can't question what we believe because we're religious, right? So if we believe that the earth is 6,000 years old, or we believe that evolution doesn't exist, or we believe in intelligent design, then you can't really criticize us. You can't really have an argument because we're religious. And a lot of atheists created what is called the Satanic cult in order to say, well, okay, well, if we can't criticize you because you're religious, then now you can't criticize us because we're religious as well. It's kind of like, you know, I guess in a time when principles and rules actually did exist, this was their way of fighting back. But the fact that the Satanic cult did get nominated as a religious entity is something that I disagree with. You know, unfortunately, the law disagrees with me, but I don't think they are a religious entity, because not only do we know how they came to be, and I just told you the history, but they themselves, they say that they don't actually worship Satan. So, you know, the reason that they became a religion is literally to be against Christianity and the right wing. Like, expressly so, that this is no subversion, this is no something that was done behind closed doors. Like, they are very public about it. So, they're basically, I don't even know how to call them at this point. They're not even edgy. Like, they are the most conformist of the conformists, if you can believe. Like, in the Satanic Temple, it was like 2020, you could invite your kids to sit on the Baphomet statue. I mean, that's edgy as fuck, right? But you could only do that if your kids were triple vaxxed and wear 2 masks like Dr. Fauci ordered. So basically, like, an organization that's allegedly about freedom and liberty and doing whatever you want, they were like, well, you can do whatever you want, just show the QR code and, you know, do what the government tells you, because otherwise... And of course, you know, like, everyone in the church didn't allow for any dissident opinions, because that's another thing. Like, what is the difference between a free society and a fascist one? Well, in a free society, you can still have people that disagree. I mean, you can still do something, but disagree with it. Like, for example, I don't like paying my taxes, but I do pay them, but I disagree with the concept. I do think that I'm taxed too much, right? but I am allowed to voice this concern. I am allowed to say, look, I don't enjoy the fact that I'm taxed so much. It's not fair, right? Like, why is this happening? But I still pay them, right? However, during the pandemic, you weren't allowed to say any type of dissent, because you would get kicked out of any leftist institution. Like, you weren't able to say, well, I don't think it's okay that people are being locked up in their own homes. I don't like it. I mean, there were people that were triple vaxxed, and they would come out and say, like, I don't like the fact that the government mandates is preventing people from going out. And they were called vaccine deniers. And I'm like, how the fuck? They got 3 doses. Like, dude. So anyway, like, my point is that this institution that allegedly is supposed to allow liberty and freedom and all the tenets that they have is just like now a political arm of the left. And it is being used specifically to target right-wingers. So why would they build a satanic statue in the first place? Like obviously, they're doing it to show that Christians are hypocritical because, well, Christians, they have on public ground, they have like the commandments, and they have like all of these things that belongs to them. And there should be a separation between church and state. So basically they're saying, well, if the Christians get to do it, then we get to do it as well, right? So this is how they got their permit, by the way. Like the reason they did it was to, I guess, like highlight hypocrisy. And there are arguments against this, like there are arguments saying that, well, America, despite the fact that there's a separation between church and state, it's a Christian nation. Like I heard the arguments, but from a legal standpoint, right? Like from a legal standpoint, you can't make these moral arguments. From a legal standpoint, the law is the law. So the reason they got access to do this is because like Christians have also got access in the past to do similar things. Now, why would they do it, right? Like, why would you put a satanic statue in the middle of the Capitol? Well, it's the same thing like you get on the internet when you say a really racist joke, right? Like, no one is harmed by the joke. You can just ignore it. You can move away. But the reaction that people have towards the joke is the funny stuff. It's like when you post like it's okay to be white thing, right? And the ADL freaks out, and you see all the leftists freaking out. That is the hilarious. It's like the statement in itself is innocuous. Like, it's not going to make anyone laugh. Like, most people in Eastern Europe would even ignore it. They'll be like, okay, yeah, sure. But the way they're reacting to it, you post the okay sign and they freak out. This is literally the exact same thing with the satanic statue. Except that the satanic temple has a lot of left-leaning people that are on their side. And these people happen to be in the media, they happen to be politicians, they happen to be higher up. So when they're reporting at it, they're reporting it from a very neutral point of view. They're reporting it in a very respectful way, right? Like if a white person would have gone into the Senate, into the Capitol building, and he would have started yelling racist slurs, you see that the media wouldn't report it in a neutral manner. They wouldn't report it the same way that they are now with this, right? If the West Battle Baptist Church would go there chanting their slogans, immediately the media would not just report on it. They would moralize, right? Like they would use harsh words and criticism. But you notice that when the Satanic Temple does it, the reports were very neutral. They were almost like a PR statement. So when you have a Christian which decapitates the statue, everyone freaks out now. It's like, oh my god, oh, the horror that they did. Yes, horrible, I understand. All of a sudden, how many statues were destroyed during the BLM riots? Because I think it was like over 100 of them, some of them of the founding fathers. The media didn't seem to care that much, right? Now I'm not talking about the crime in itself. I'm talking about the morality that we should get from, which is the media, right? Like you read the media and they usually don't just report the facts. They editorialize. They cast moral judgment. So it's the same people that were alive back then, right? That are now. Like where was their outrage then? Why is it that they're only outraged when it comes to certain statues? Like why is a satanic statue more important than a statue of Thomas Jefferson? Is it because Satan didn't have slaves? Is that it? These are important questions to be asked. Because at the end of the day, I don't care about that right-winger that, decapitated the statue. I care about the media reporting on it. Because those are the people that influence me far more on a daily basis than what some lawmaker in Iowa does. So this is the question. It tells you a lot more about the media and the people they have allegiance to, then it tells you about like some right winger. Which, by the way, again, like the reason the Satanic Temple even did this was to get right wingers to act like this, because from the point of the Satanic Temple, this is a big W. They managed to get what appears to be a lawmaker in trouble, right? Like he may face charges, he may get arrested, right? Like of course they're happy with it. Now everyone talks about the Satanic Temple. Now they're going to get bigger donations, right? Like this is literally what they were planning to do. Like this is the activism, right? Like I'm willing to bet that this is what they discussed behind closed doors. It's like let's make the statue. Some right winger is going to freak out, and when that happens, our friends in the media are going to talk about us. We're going to get more donations and profit. So this is literally the grift. And I would say that it's one of the most effective grift of political operatives on the left wing. Cause a scene, and when you get the reaction, you play the victim. We actually have this saying in Romania, because again, like we experienced these types of tactics for many years under communism. It's like pushing the old lady down the stairs and asking her why is she in a rush. This is what these people are doing. Like literally, they're causing the event, right? Like they know that it's going to upset people. They're causing the event, and when the backlash happens, they're playing the victims. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.